Welcome. Baba, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, Chief. Fantastic rugby action taking place here. We are here at the RFUEA Grounds and I'm telling you, this is just brilliant rugby action. It is the Elgon Cup. We have seen under-19 Kenya versus Uganda. We have seen the ladies' version of the game taking onto the pitch. And shortly we are going to Kenya A versus Uganda in the Elgon Cup. The game joined by two gentlemen here. Just introduce yourself very quickly to the viewers.
Robert Sseguya is my name.
Robert Sseguya.
Ng'ang'a.
And these two gentlemen, if you've been following rugby, then, first of all, they shouldn't have introduced themselves, but they did. Anyway, Sseguya.
Yes, please.
A fantastic outing in Kampala. Are we hoping to see the same here in Nairobi?
Definitely, boys have not come for a tourist something here. They've just come to play and actually take back Elgon Cup.
They are going to take it back home.
Yes, that's what we've come for.
They're not tourists.
They're not tourists.
No, but you have fantastic sites here in Nairobi as well. After winning the trophy, maybe you can go on the tour a bit.
Then it will be after the job. After the job. That's the reward after the win.
Are you hoping to use the same tactics that you used in Kampala to secure this victory?
Seemingly the same. 70%, 30% new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any new additions to the team? Any changes you've made, or is basically the same starting lineup?
We haven't made any changes. We believe in what we had last week.
Yes.
Yeah, and just improvement on our weaknesses. Simple.
You never change the winning side?
No, we never change.
Ng'ang'a, let me just bring you in here.
Yeah.
The boys went down to Kampala.
Yes.
An unfortunate loss for the Kenyan side.
Yeah, it was.
Lessons learned, what did the boys pick up? What do they need to work on? You are a Kenyan international, you've been here before. Yeah. And of course, you understand the pressure of the game. The fans are going to give you so much pressure.
The boys had trained together for 3 weeks or so.
Yes.
But what they didn't deliver was the finishing, actually. But the structures in place were quite good. The forwards did quite a bit, the centers as well. Then the young boys who've come in, Kina Malcolm, those guys were sour. But when it comes to the experience Madu brings, the captain, and being backed up by the front rows, he has Giles and he has Reggae. I think they'll deliver in terms of forward play and will bring the game to us.
People will argue that the Kenyan side is a bit weakened by the absence of, for example, the international players who have gone for the Commonwealth Games. Do you think that is going to be a major factor in this game?
No, I don't think it will, because the boys that are there currently, I think they can deliver the game, and they're quite experienced. We have Kelvin Omio.
Yes.
We have Isaac Adimo. And we have Eden Aguero.
Yes.
So I think the quality there is good enough to deliver the game.
Okay,
Yeah.
just Sseguya, back to you. In terms of issues of delivery, the Kenyans are not going to take it lying down.
I know.
Are you going more defensive, or is just attacking all the way?
What's the best way to approach your opponent? By attacking him.
Attacking?
We are going to attack Kenya.
So you're going to attack?
We are going to attack Kenya.
Tell him you're going to attack.
Joe Ng'ang'a knows. I've played with Joe Ng'ang'a for about 7-8 years.
Yes.
Till last year.
So you know him very well.
He knows what we can do here. But I'm telling you, now it's going to go down on who wants it better. Who wants it better will win the game.
This season Uganda has experienced a bit of ups and downs in terms of rugby. Being relegated to play a division.
Tier 1C, yeah.
Exactly. It's rather unfortunate. We'd like them to join the Kenyan side in terms of the rankings. What does this tournament mean to you, the Elgon Cup? Winning it today, what would it mean for Ugandan rugby?
You see, right now, the fans home are crying. So a stepping stone to see Uganda rugby going back to where it came from, we need to win Elgon Cup. To keep back the funds, bring back everybody, bring back the sponsors, so it means a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, though we've gone down there, it doesn't mean that the game we play is bad.
Yes.
It doesn't. There have been some problem within the camp. It doesn't mean that.
So it doesn't mean you have to stay down, you can actually come up and win it?
Any day, any time.
What I think,
any day, any time, he says it.
but Segu knows Ngong Road how it is. And every time they come to Nairobi, they know how tough the game will be. And these boys, they're pleased to play at home and in front of the fans. And I think if they win this cup, and I think they will today, it will still keep the faith going, despite the Kenya loss in Madagascar. Our World Cup hopes gone in flames. But winning this trophy will still keep the belief, and I think you can see the turnout is quite good.
No, the turnout is fantastic.
So,
the fans are expecting so much because the under-19s have done their bit for the Kenyan side.
Yes.
The ladies have done their bit for the Kenyan side.
Yeah.
Now it is up to the Ugandan side 15s and the A team to bring on their game to take some glory back to Uganda. Do you think they can do it? Do you think they can deliver it for the boys?
I don't just think they can do it, but they are going to do it. Joe, you know what happens here. It's back to back, you know.
I know it's back to back. Segu.
Back to back, yeah.
But Segu, if you look at history, you won here maybe twice.
Let me tell you something. I don't always look at history. Today is a new day. Remember last year you beat Zimbabwe in Madagascar.
Yes.
This time it beat you. So don't look at history. What do we have today and now on this Saturday? You talk about absence of players.
Yes.
We have many who have gone also for Commonwealth.
Uh-huh.
So, as he said it, let's play what's on the ground.
You play on the ground, today is the
play.
day. Forget about
Today is
history.
the day, let's bring it on.
Well, Joel will beg to differ because, I mean, he's been there before. He's played against you and he tells you that you know Ngong Road, the moment that it comes here, the pressure is on.
The same will tell you, he knows Kampala.
And I
Joe
think
has been in Kampala, he knows Kampala.
the 7-point difference won't be that hard to turn over. And
Yes.
the experience we still have in Kenya A is fantastic. And
Yeah.
I think those guys will carry us through. And the young boys they're hungry enough and they want to break through the ranks and to the main team.
Speaking about the young boys, just before you go on, just speaking about the young boys, there's Eden Agero who is going to be featuring in this squad. He might be the game changer. Now, Kenya, if they want to clinch the Elgon Cup, all they have to do is bridge that 7-point gap because the Elgon Cup is a home and away basis, and you have to get it on aggregate. So you think they can actually bridge that 7-point gap? Eden Agero, you've spoken about the young lads.
Yeah, and Eden and Isaac, a very good combination. They've played together, even at club level for almost 3-4 years now. And in the forwards, we have like Malcolm, very young guy, talented. He's coming through. So these guys will definitely bring the cup.
But Segu will tell you that the Ugandans are very physical. They'll take it head on.
No doubt. Joe knows.
He knows it.
He knows.
He has faced the forwards of
He
Uganda.
knows. He has tested it. He has tested fire.
Quite physical they'll be, but we'll match up to them.
Eh.
But our backs will carry us today.
Well,
True.
it's only 40 minutes of the first half that is going to decide who is going to take the game, which team is going to stick to their game plan and ensure they take the Elgon Cup. It means so much to Ugandan rugby if they clinch it. And of course, Kenya, they're going for all glory. After the under-19 delivered for them, after the ladies team delivered for them, it's up to the A team. All this action happening in the next 40 minutes. See you at halftime.
Welcome back to the RFUEA Grounds. This is a big one. We have had 3 matches lined up at the start of the day. 2 have already concluded, going up into Kenya's favor. Kenya winning the under-19 category. And the women's, that was just concluded about 30 minutes ago. The next one up, the Elgon Cup men's final. First leg in Uganda, had Uganda having a 7-point advantage. Kenya, have a lot on their hands. With me for this game is my very able scribe colleague, Michael Kwambo. Mike, your thoughts on the game?
Thank you, Hillary. For me, I think it's a perfect afternoon for rugby. The anticipation, the excitement, the passion is palpable at a venue that has meant so much for Kenyan rugby over the years. Uganda Rugby Cranes come into this match leading 21-14 from the first leg in Kampala. Not many changes to Peter Magona's side, which did duty last week. I think he has the luxury of a full-strength squad as he seeks to guide Uganda to a first Elgon Cup since 2012. For Kenya, coached by Dominic Habimana, they have made a total of 3 changes to their matchday squad, roping in Victor Brown, Rocky Aguko and Isaiah Nyariki, and they will all start from the bench. Habimana has also tweaked his first 15, handing starts to Neto Simiu, Brian Sagara and Eden Agero, while maintaining faith in the other 12 who started the opening leg last week in Kampala. I think it's going to be a very close contest, Hilary.
Definitely. Uganda only have Marshall Chukam, who had visa hitches getting into Kenya, who's just not on the starting lineup. Still, they have Brian Odongo, Paul Serunjogi, Timothy Cabonero, Romano Gual, Arthur Mukama, Brian Asiba, Marvin Odongo, Ivan Makmoti, Joseph Aredo, Jonathan Onen, also known as Bishop, Patrick Leku, Oscar Kalyango, Justin Kimono, the very nippy and fast winger, Solomon Oki at 15. The replacements have Cyrus Watum, Asman Mugerwa, John Wandicho, Andrew Olwenyi, Ronald Musaja Gulanyago, Davis Kwelabie, Chris Lubanga, Lawrence Okabi. In the place of Chukam is Dennis Mugambi. That name would actually sound very common as a Kenyan. And yes, indeed, he was born in Kenya, but has elected to represent Uganda. Of course, these countries do share a border. And up next first, the Uganda national anthem. Next up will be the Kenya national anthem. Showing his true Kenyan colors in there. I'm certain that's not his full-time job. Still does not matter. He'll be the mascot for the day. That's what the crowd wants. That's what actually creates a carnival affair. And I'm certain he's going to have a time of his life, irrespective of the scoreline. On the picture there's Kenya Rugby Union Chairman Mwangi Mude just shaking the hands of the Ugandan players. Mike, why do you think this game will be won at?
I think this game will be won at the contact areas. I think the team that manages to take a scrap
Good luck, boys.
at the
Good luck.
pace
Good luck.
will have an upper hand. Remember last week the game ended 21-14 to the Uganda Rugby Cranes. It shows that the game was quite close. I think that's where it will be won at.
Good luck in the game today.
Both teams
Thank you very much.
have contrasting levels
Good luck
of
with us,
disappointment in the
Edward.
last 2 months. Uganda being very unlucky in their quest to retain their position in the Car 1B, losing to Senegal, losing to Tunisia, and dropping into the lower echelons of the Confederation of African Rugby Competition, dropping into the Car 1C next year. And Kenya, who were until 3 weeks ago reigning Africa Rugby champions, lost out at the very last instant to a ticket qualifying for the Rugby World Cup in London next year. Having said that, they decided to fill in the Kenya A side, who will be looking to go around and show just what they have within their armory. And this might be the fellows who will be playing for the country within the next 6-7 years.
Yes, Hilary, as you said, this is a great indication of depth by the Kenya Rugby Union, showing that they still have another set of 30 that they can bring to play a full international. Only that this international has no IRB rankings, but the stature of this match, Kenya versus Uganda, any day is a derby worth that recognition.
Of course, definitely carnival affair. The Ugandan contingent that traveling to Nairobi, looking extremely bubbly, rallying behind the boys. The Kenyans perhaps, yes, also just being a bit shell-shocked. It was a bitter pill to swallow for the World Cup, but that notwithstanding, life must go on. And this is where you pick yourself up and show the value of a sportsman. Next 80 minutes, we'll have a clear indication on who really wants this trophy the most.
And as we wait for the teams to huddle, one thing worth noting is that the center referee is from Zimbabwe. His name is Nsikelelo Sykes Sibanda.
Wait, please. Wait.
Well, Just a clarification on the Ugandan lineup. As Hilary Itala had earlier mentioned, Marshall Chumkam had visa issues coming into the country. Asuman Mugero has been promoted from the bench and starts at number 3, while Kenyan-born Ugandan international Dennis Mugambi Muridhi starts from the bench.
Ivan Makmoti with a deep kickoff kick, and the Ugandans looking like they're sighting their intentions very early on. Very dynamic from the kickoff. Kenyans doing very well to return the ball.
That's taken back. That was outside.
Isaac Adimo, heavily bandaged on his right knee. I've seen a couple of lives doing that just to try and give an illusion of injury. So I'm not too certain whether he's injured at this moment.
Well, Isaac Adimo sustained a knee injury during the Vodacom Cup campaign in South Africa, and he's only just coming back to competitive rugby. That Hillary explains the stopping on his knee.
Wait, tackler!
Showing some great level of vicious ability, pummeling right in there. Brian Asego from where Romano left up, and Uganda still retaining the ball possession. It's looking dynamic. Justin Kimono spots a gap, takes it, turns left, turns right. 4 missed tackles. Eventually, Neto Simiyu manages to get a hold of the very nippy Justin Kimono. Brian Odong, captain of Uganda, popping the ball back to a rampaging Arthur Mukuna. This is looking very, very positive for the Uganda Cranes in the first minutes of this game.
Yes, Hillary, a bright start for the Rugby Cranes as they seek to win the Elgon Cup for the first time since 2012.
Romano Gual gets into the contact phase but loses the ball.
Taken back. Taken back.
Adimo's numbers out. Neto Simiyu, the very experienced Neto Simiyu, kicks the ball and looks like Leon Adongo has a sniff at the ball. He's got the pace, but the ball manages to go all the way into touch.
Well, that was some great vision from Neto Simiyu, just spotting a gap there in the Ugandan backline and slotting the ball to go out for touch and relieve the Kenya A side of the pressure that was already mounting.
Very versatile player, played at lock position, played at flank, played at fly-half, being utilized in the fullback position for Kenya this afternoon's game against the Uganda Cranes.
Paul Serungoji to take the line and throw for the Rugby Cranes. In our picture there we can see number 7 on the Kenya side, Edwins Makori, jumping, but it is claimed by Uganda's Marvin.
Wait, no hands, no!
I mean, just looking at the body language, the Ugandans have actually come to play here, and they're not looking anywhere near overawed.
They definitely want to build on the 7-point lead from last week's match at the Chadondolo Rugby Club in Kampala and lift the Elgon Cup for the first time since 2012 and claim a 3rd overall Elgon Cup victory.
Great kick there by Ivan Makmoti, gets Uganda to have a line out 10 meters into the Kenyan territory from the halfway line.
There's a mark.
Of course, both countries do not have their full composition of what they'd probably want to have as their best players. You do also are aware that the Commonwealth Games will be held in Scotland next weekend, and these teams will both having their services competing in that event.
Which is a good reflection of rugby in the East African region. Having 2 sides at the Commonwealth Games, having 2 other sides compete here in another international fixture.
No! Fine, turnover!
Ball goes on a turnover. Referee not too happy with where Timothy Cabonero picked up the ball. Brano Dongo looked like he'd actually been isolated and the ball was turned over, cleanly racked by the Kenyan forwards.
And Hillary, you mentioned Timothy Cabonero coming in for the long-serving George Scott Olwoch, who has taken a sabbatical from international rugby. The Kenyan-born George Scott Olwoch, who played for the Rugby Cranes for the longest of times.
Definitely, indeed. I mean, just to show you the cross-cultural effect between Kenya and Uganda, you know, you can actually almost name about 6 or 7 players born in Kenya who've turned up for Uganda.
Many, including Herbert Wafula, who sits on the technical bench for the Rugby Cranes. But Hillary, the funny thing, we haven't seen it in the other direction.
I don't think Kenya would probably be complaining. There's not a wealth of depth on the Kenyan side of the border. And of course, they say it's always good to go around and give some of your toys to the neighbor.
That's Kelvin Omio taking the ball in. That was a good run from him. He sets up a platform for Eden Agero, but referee Sykes Sibanda from Zimbabwe calling the game to order.
Fabian Orlando trying to be very nippy, just stopped on, and the referee from Zimbabwe just, telling the guys, come on, just have it easy, let's go around and play it my way. Kelvin Omio going on in there. That was a very hard, crunching tackle coming in from Uganda.
Meanwhile,
Very
it is,
menacing presence of Marvin Odongo and Brian Asaba just pummeling him and just stopping him right in his tracks.
yeah, Marvin Odongo has become a permanent fixture in the Rugby Cranes over the past few years. His experience is definitely going to count. Meanwhile, the Ugandans concede a penalty. Isaac Adimo lining up to attempt for goal. Remember, if you're watching us,
Stop moving.
there's a hashtag on the right-hand corner of your screen, Elgon Cup. You can follow the conversation on social media, on Twitter and on Facebook. Meanwhile, Isaac Adimo to attempt to get Kenya A into the lead.
Unlucky by Adimo, the ball comes off the left bar. Uganda
Release him.
quickly go in
Fine.
and try and
Stay
defend
on.
the
Stay
possession.
on. Stay on.
Quite a gamble in there. Bishop Onen losing the ball and a Kenya try. Very irresponsible play then.
Philip
Looks like it was
Owar.
Philip Owar.
Philip Owar,
Passed
Oscar
on it.
Ouma's elder brother. His brother Oscar Ouma plays for the Kenya Sevens team. And that is a very special moment for Philip Owar, grounding the ball to put Kenya A 5-0 up. Let's just look at that
Surely,
again.
that was a pass too many. Why didn't he kick from that angle? He didn't even lose the ball. Philip Owar smashed him on a tackle, ripped the ball and scored the try. Absolutely dreadful. I don't think Onen would be keen to see that on any replay. So Adimo gets second chance to go for the upright. This time, not from a penalty, but from a conversion. And he'll be keen to ensure that he can get into his stride early on in the game. That always helps a kicker on who misses. This one is far to the left. Penalty that he took a minute earlier was much better. Still, game still in its early stages. Kenya with a 5 point, actually a try gifted to them by Jonathan Onen. Ivan Makmoti set to kick off the Ugandan Cranes.
Release. Release. Release.
Picked there by Dalmas Chitui. Kenya not doing anything fancy, just trying to get the basics on. Philippo with a very massive hit there on Romano Gual. Giles Littlewood rampaging in there, losing the ball in contact. And Uganda just managed to turn the ball over possession there.
Let's go.
Well, Hillary, just
Come
before
on.
the game has taken shape almost immediately, the Ugandans came out guns blazing. The Kenyans punishing a Ugandan mistake and putting points on the board.
Definitely indeed, Mike, definitely indeed. A very familiar name in the Kenyan front row there, Anthony Orege.
Right.
Playing
Crouch.
with Peter Gary and Giles Littlewood.
Bind.
I remember back in
Set.
the day, there was a prop called Arnold Orege Bomb. No nonsense.
Yes,
Hold it.
indeed. All 160 kilograms of
Let's go
him.
again.
Very nice individual to play against. Not one to actually reminisce the morning after when your back is paining.
All right. Okay. There's the mark. Let's go.
Putin still returns onto the Ugandan crane side.
Don't engage until I say
the
set,
ball.
please.
Eden
All right,
again,
coach.
one preferred at the scrum of position.
Bind.
Very
Set.
interesting call there
Hold
by
it,
Coach
hold
Dominic
it,
Kabimana.
hold
Eden
it.
again has been known to be more of an out-and-out attacking option on the flyer.
Come walk.
Well, I remember when he got his first call-up for Kenya in 2012, Michael Tankotieno, coaching the side, said this is one player who can play at 9 and 10 with relative ease as Uganda just try to take the game back to the Kenyans.
Referee agrees with Jonathan Onen. There was a high tackle in there and there'll be a penalty for Uganda.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can see the decision that has been made by the Rugby Cranes, forcing a penalty off the Kenyans, and Ivan Makmot will attempt to go for goal.
have actually managed to experience something that is more of a rarity. 2 penalties all coming off the post in the first 10 minutes. The goals of penalties have not agreed today.
And those in the space of 4 minutes, those 2 penalties.
Use it. Okay, no advantage there. We'll take the knock.
Ball held up by Kenya.
Knock first.
And it will be a scrum put with Uganda being...
knock on.
I beg your pardon, it was actually the Kenyan players who were held up by the Ugandans, so it will be a scrum put in for Uganda. Very colourful crowd up at the RFUEA Grounds of Ng'ang'a Road in Nairobi.
All right, coach.
Here to witness one of the
Bind.
biggest battles in sporting calendars, the Elgon Cup.
No.
Well,
Guys,
Hillary, I
coach,
think this
bind
is
doesn't
one
mean
of the
engage.
biggest rugby
Let's
derbies
wait.
on the African
Let's
continent.
wait.
I don't even
Okay,
think
I'm
the
gonna
rivalry
penalize
between
now.
Zimbabwe
Okay,
and
that's the last
Namibia
time.
measures up to this.
All right, let's go.
Definitely, indeed, of course, both countries just having a similar platform over past decade and being able to go around and just grow from strength to strength. And of course, it's also a whiff of fresh air to see this being also extended to the under-19 category. Another high tackle in there, and I think Brian Sagara has to be very careful. That is his second high tackle within the first 10 minutes. I'm certain the match referee will be having a word in the event of any breakdown of play, because if left undeterred, that might end up resulting in very, very dangerous injuries.
Well, you just feel Brian Sagara is a bit raw in some technical aspects of the game, and probably that is why he's not in the main Kenya squad. He's still one of those players who has potential for the future, and he can only refine his technique by playing for Kenya A.
The Ugandans deciding to utilize their forwards who look like they are making inroads into the Kenyan territory. Pick and rise being preferred. Peter Karia placing the tackle there. Ugandans just less than 5 meters away from the trial here. Much better there by Brian Sagara. This time goes low, manages to stop the Ugandans right in their territory. Malcolm Monsano electing to go low. Still the Ugandans continue with their rampage. They go further out wide. Very nice deft kick in. Leonard Dongo was up to the task and the ball has been smoothly killed. Referee was still playing advantage. It looks like he's running back to an advantageous area. Look like it's still advantage for Uganda. So Leonard Dongo had to let go of the ball.
And Hillary, what do you think the Ugandans will do now that the advantage has swung back in their favor? What do you think the Ugandans will do now that the advantage has swung back in their favor?
They would be wise to go around and get in the 3 points. The Elgon Cup is ideally an aggregate matchup, home and away leg. So Ugandans have only a 7-point differential with the try that Kenya scored a couple of minutes ago. That advantage has been reduced to only 2 points. And they will need to ensure that in as much as they're playing away from home, they've got to try and put a lot of day and night between them and the Kenyans, because 3 points is much better than getting 0. And the tries will not always be easy to score in such games. So, of course, definitely, call taken up by Mark Mott would be the 3 points in there. He did hit the post a few minutes ago. We still yet to see any points being scored through the uprights. And will Mark Mott be able to do that? I don't know. The goals of the uprights still refuse, Mike. And the scores remain at 5 points to 0 for Kenya.
They still refuse. Yes, it's 5-0 to Kenya A on the day. It's 21-19 to Uganda on aggregate.
Definitely, indeed, of course. That'll be a much better story for the Kenyans.
Behind,
at least it gives them a chance to understand what they really need to do to execute the next couple of minutes. Of course, it's still the second half yet to play. But everything that will be the premier, or the primer rather, of this particular game will be laid within the first half. So whether you want to go around and sit down and just, get pummeled over, you will be able to show that in the first half, and that might come back to haunt you later on. Justin Kimono almost getting away with a very unorthodox kick in there. Eden Agero retrieving it for the Kenyans, who have numbers in that ruck and numbers out wide as well. Isaac Kadimo spotting a gap, stepping in and out. Fabian Orlando. That will be very, very costly if Uganda can score. Fabian Orlando will not be very happy with himself.
Well, you just feel Fabian Orlando was a bit too casual, probably even flamboyant with that tap. I mean, you're in the wrong half of the pitch. You'd rather play defensive. The Ugandans are inches away from the Kenyan try line, and they're sniffing that try line. It's an almighty fight there, but the advantage swings to the Kenyans.
Fabian Orlando must be heaving in relief. That was absolutely careless.
Here we are.
Great awareness by the Ugandans and great testament of the fact that given half a chance they can convert it.
Let's go. Let's go. Max here. Max here. Let's go. Let's go. Right. Crouch. Bind. Set. Yes. Play.
Ball picked up on the back of the
No hands. No hands. No hands.
Ball lost in contact, and I mean the litany of errors
No hands,
unforced. I mean it's just going out of proportion.
Yeah, but somebody went to the
Referee,
hand
doesn't
first.
believe that the ball
Hand
was
first.
won well on the rack, and I think Chitu gets a get out of jail card in that instance.
He's lucky to get that get out of jail card. The Kenyans are lucky
This is Mark, eh?
to have the pressure
This is Mark.
lifted off their backs. It looks as though, oh, it's Agero just giving it to Isaac Adimo, who's definitely going to go for touch and get the Kenyans out of this very dangerous area.
Adimo's kick did not go on before. And immediately, Marvin Odongo gets back into the foray.
That's a rock now. That's a rock.
Tracks by
Stay on.
Kenyan captain
Hey,
Edwin
back.
Makori.
Back. Playing advantage. Offside. Play, play. Still playing advantage for offside.
Uganda still showing a lot of determination, zest, and energy in the forward contact situations.
back, guys,
the Kenyans
back.
need to do a lot more
Fine.
better to try and
Use
stop
that,
that, because that
use
looks
that.
like it's going to be the danger point in
Right,
this game.
advantage over.
Cross kick over. There's got a runner coming on through. Leon Adongo manages to just place his presence.
But that was
till
some
that.
quick thinking from Joseph Aredo.
Leon Adongo comes from a very famous sporting family. His brother Daniel Adongo turned out for the Sharks under 21 academy in the Curry Cup and in a couple of Vodacom matches. Did have a stint in New Zealand and is currently the first Kenyan
He
to
wasn't
play in
taking
the
anything.
National Football League in America. He said to change codes.
Changing codes, making money, but those are the doors that sport can open for you.
And I'm informed that their father was also a boxer.
Yes, he was a heavyweight boxer.
Wouldn't have wanted my dad to be a boxer.
Why? What would you have picked up?
He was an average guy, and I can tell you, he was already strong as it was. So having that included with a boxing title on his belt would really not be quite keen for any one of his children.
And I think it would have made you a terror in the front row.
Definitely,
Because
indeed.
you already were one.
Very unlucky piece of play there by Malcolm Monsando, gifting Uganda a scrum put in deep within their, not really deep within their territory, within their territory, I beg your pardon. Still been evenly matched, other than the fact that we had a very interesting try being scored by Jonathan Onen during the first 10 minutes. The Ugandans seem to have gotten back into the conservative role, trying to play the ball, returning between the forwards, trying to look for gaps, getting in, Justin Kimono coming, running in from the dip. And, well, keeping the Kenyans at bay so far.
Wheels, eh? Wheels.
Referee judges that
Okay.
the scrum moved to 90 degrees, so
All right. Okay. Keep an eye open for that.
there'll be a changeover in the put in. Kenya now
There's a
get a
mark.
chance to put in the ball. Eden Agero in your picture, Kenya Sevens International, being preferred today
Right,
in
crouch.
the scrummer's position in this match.
Bind. Set.
Of course, himself a natural number 10.
Use it. Use it. It's out. It's out.
Scrum goes 90.
Playing advantage.
This time
Was a knock.
Uganda managed to steal the ball from Kenya. The Ugandans prefer picking the ball and just rummaging right through, while the Kenyans look like they prefer running off the scrummer.
Rock.
So
No hands,
different
no hands. Well, advantage
modes to
over.
approaching the offensive play from the base of the rack by both
Right
teams.
back on his knee. What's his knee? Use it.
Ghana captain Brian Odong there,
Away red.
taking off 3 players.
Away red.
Very, very solid player and a great scrummager. Ball goes to fly up Joseph Aredo, who spots a gap down, only manages to
back,
kick as
take it
far
back.
as Godfrey Mbeya.
Onside.
Solomon Okia fills the ball very comfortably for the Uganda Cranes.
Away now, Black.
Deep
Move,
ball up in there
move.
by Okia.
Play on. One backwards. One backwards. Play on.
Fabian Orlando this time getting the ball, trying to atone for his early indiscretion, getting to a bit of a spot of bother, but he had loads of support coming onto the back. Philip Ward literally being appended and being moved around like a mannequin.
Well, that's the nature of the game, Hillary. Isaac Adimo just getting the Kenyans out of that spot of bother, but there's no one to help him on the chase. And it's the Ugandans now in possession again. That is Solomon Okia, voted man of the match in last weekend's leg in Kampala, booting the Ugandans out to safety. Quick line out. That's Eden Agero playing it to Nato Simiyu, who comes in at fullback today.
Great to see Solomon Okia playing for the senior Uganda team. And Leon Adongo looks like he's on full flight. Just like I mentioned, Solomon Okia turned up for the Uganda under-19s team in the last 2 editions of Safari Sevens, and it's a great wonder to see a 20-year-old being voted the man of the match in a test game.
I think it's also not only a great wonder, but also a beautiful transition. It just shows the development structures that the Ugandans have. Of course, also the Kenyans have. Anyway, the action on the pitch there, the ball goes out to touch.
Rampaging around there by Leon Adongo. He's got a lot of gas to burn. Just looked like he overcooked it before he engaged the tackler.
Exactly, Hillary. And Leon is one of those players on his day, you'd never catch him. He's been blighted by injuries over the past few seasons, but a fully fit Leon Adongo is a problematic Leon Adongo for the opposing team.
Showed a glimpse of what he's capable of doing right there moments ago. And I'm certain that we'll get to see a lot more of that as the game progresses.
Mark, guys, half a meter. No, you have to move. Right.
Stoppage in play. But it seems as though the teams are going in for scrummage. Eden Agero with the ball, so that means it's going to be a Kenya put-in. They're deep in their 22.
Right, crouch.
They don't want to be playing in this part of the field. The Ugandans, of course, are going to come at them hammer and tongs.
This one, Mark, yeah. This one, Mark.
You almost wonder what will perhaps open up this game. It's still being a bit conservative in itself.
Fine.
But you almost get a feeling that it requires a spark to just start the entire nuclear reaction. And it's only at that moment in time that you'll probably be able to see some exciting rugby, free-flowing left, right, and center.
That's some more.
23 minutes at the RFUEA Grounds. Kenya A leading Uganda 5-0 in this Elgon Cup return leg. The Ugandans, however, leading on aggregate 21-19, having won last weekend's match in Kampala 21-14. If you're watching us, remember there's a hashtag on the right-hand side of your screen, hashtag Elgon Cup. You can follow the conversation on social media, on the Facebook and Twitter social media channels.
Let's go. Right, crouch.
Scrum put in for Uganda.
Fine.
Ivan Makmo to the ball again.
Set.
Much better drive,
Use that.
keeping kept straight this time around. Marvin Odongo gets a ball, unfortunately slips, and
Wasn't tackled.
Isaac Adimo
Release
is
now,
there to pick
release.
him up. Still Uganda managed to
Use
retain
it.
the ball possession there.
Use it.
Mahmoud looking for options, electing to go over his left shoulder. Ramaging round up by Romano Gual.
Well, Hillary,
Body
down,
position
man.
just allowed the Kenyan defense of Kelvin Omio and Fabian Orlando to
Away,
have a
red.
grip on him.
Away, red.
Hillary was going
Red
to
away.
say that Romano Ogwal is
Fine.
beginning to
Well
have
done.
an influence on this game because he's gaining yards for the Ugandans every time he carries that ball forward.
The combination
Play.
between him and Marvin Odongo looks like it's one of the best combinations in this game so far. Justin Kimono trying to get a gap in there,
In touch.
getting none, and being ganged up in there on the tackle by the Kenyans.
Ghana's formed. Who's there? No, they're there. 1, 2, 3. They're coming.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to give a big shout out to my good friend Peter Ofong, watching this game somewhere in Kampala. He told me to say that.
Money has been poured. Money has been poured. Money has been poured.
Kenya under 19 beating the Uganda under 19, 27-10. And the Kenya Lionesses.
Stoppage of play there. Looks like Justin Kimono could have come off second best in that challenge. Couple of paramedics just attending to him, referee just being certain that there's everything that, you know, a referee would want to go and govern safety and health being retained on the pitch.
Yeah,
Quite responsible from his end.
All right, let's go. Wait. Is it cut?
Looks like Kimono has managed to pick himself up. Looks like he's tying up his laces. So we'll be able to proceed with the line out.
It's a line out in the
Is it
Kenyan
staying on?
22. Peter Carrier from the Kenya A side will be the one to throw it in.
Comfortable pick there by Malcolm.
Play!
Pops it out to Eden Aguero. Kenya look like going to attack deep from the tip, and Philippo Ward breaks and slides. He's got numbers on his left shoulder. Pass it to the captain, Makori. They've got numbers coming in, and Malcolm Onsando, who started the entire charge, knocks it on.
Well, I don't think he was expecting that ball.
What you want?
I think he had exhausted his banners and was focusing more on being involved in something else, probably getting into the rack.
Of course, not the player would really want to be in that part of an attack. Still managed to get himself in there somehow. So credit for getting there, but just spilled up on the pass, and Leon Adongo would have been the preferred person to get that ball.
He would have been, but you probably feel also that Leon Hadongo had stayed behind. Probably just covering in the event of a Ugandan counter-attack.
Owaset, how did Malcolm get there ahead of Leon Adongo?
It's called support play.
Come, eight, come. 1, please. Captains from both sides, please. Captain. Come, guys, we don't need what just happened.
Bit of emotions boiling over there. Peter Carrier and Brian Adong being called in by the match referee. Just told to try and keep it civil and enjoy the game.
Uganda captain, what you want? A line out, a knock on. There was a knock on first, eh? There's a knock on first, okay?
But absolutely great line break there by Philip Owar.
Yeah, that was... He showed a bit of vision, he showed a bit of pace, and he showed awareness in offloading the ball to Edwin Makori, who was there right to support him.
Great running lines being shown as well.
Remember, it's also a family event. We can see some fans come with their loved ones. And we're back to the action on the pitch.
Ivan Mahmoud, the scrum putting for Uganda. Doesn't look stable, and yes, there will actually be a reset. There was shoving before the ball went in. And that's an indiscretion.
Last one, early push.
Will allow it to be put in Uganda.
Early push, last one.
With both sets of forwards. Yes, trying to remind them on the levels of conduct required for scrum downs.
Right, crouch. Bind. Set. Hold it. Stay on side, stay on side. Stay! No, your fly half was offside.
Rugby Cranes 5-0.
Marvin Odongo smashing his way on there.
Turnover.
Good counter coming from Kenya, but not to pick up onto the ball.
No hands, no hands, no hands, no!
Great level of aggression in there by both teams. Joseph Aredo gives the Cranes a moment of relief, only to be picked up by Leon Adongo. Utilizes Neto Simiu. Neto spots a lot of space on the right side, kicks, and the ball bounces in front of Solomon Okia. Okia steps once, returns the favor.
Black move, Black! Onside, play, onside! Play on!
Ball looks almost knocked on. Referee allows it to move on through. Carrier retrieves the ball.
Fine.
Very tense moments in there for both teams.
And to quote one of my directors, this ball is not round.
Definitely isn't.
Hard
crunching tackle coming in there by Edwin Makori. This is definitely now opening up. I think this is what we were talking about earlier. We needed a spark, and I think it's already been provided. Marvin Odongo decides to chip when you'd have expected him to run on through. Easily fielded by the Kenyan defense.
No!
So slowly boiling into a very nice party. Ball given to Kelvin Omio. He doesn't look like he has the speed. Decides to kick up across. No one looks like they're running after him to get the ball. Goes deep into the Ugandan territory. Well retrieved by Ivan McMoat, who does the sensible thing of fielding up for touch.
Hey? Okay. Pardon?
And it looks like Justin Kimono may not be able to continue this game.
And in his place comes in Lawrence Wakabi. His elder brother Simon Wakabi was part of that problematic Ugandan squad that won the African Cup in 2007, an all-conquering squad that had the previous year won the Elgon Cup in 2006. That was actually Uganda's first ever win in the Elgon Cup.
Definitely, Simon Wakabi, a very, very fierce competitor on the pitch and a gentleman off it.
And it's good to see the rugby tradition maintained in the family. This is his sibling, Lawrence, on
Definitely
for Justin
indeed.
Kimono.
Definitely indeed. Dalmas Chitui pummeling himself right in there. Fabian Orlando this time getting the ball to Neto Simiu. Mbeya, the easiest of tackles coming in. Kelvin Omio smashing on his way through, doing very well to retain the ball. Omio definitely knows these Ugandan players, having himself played in the Ugandan league for about 2 seasons. Looks like the blindside winger, Jonathan Onen, is also in a spot of trouble. You already have had Justin Kimono being substituted. And it looks like Onen is having some trouble near his knee area. Looks like he's in a lot of excruciating pain.
Well, Hillary, the game has been brutal in the first 31 minutes. It's been a brutal encounter. Probably explains why it really hasn't opened up, because there's been a lot of contact. And unfortunately, maybe Onen got caught up in one of those situations.
There's another one down there.
Onen is up and walking, though in a spot of bother. Doesn't look as bad as he did 30 seconds ago. Looks like he'll be able to continue.
And it's the turn of Joseph Aredo to receive treatment. Like you say, Hillary, it's been a punishing opening 32 minutes.
Right.
Already Chimono with a knock, Onen, and now Aredo. And Aredo's a very important player for the Ugandans, playing at fly half.
You did actually mention that the contact phase would be a key indicator. I had not envisaged that it perhaps would mean that the contact knocking off players from each team. Neto Simiu with a great catch of the ball there. Great try for Kenya. Second try for Kenya by Neto Simiu. That was some great piece of ball work in there. Straight from the line out, scoring literally off from first phase.
And it means Kenya are now ahead on aggregate. They now lead 24-21 on aggregate.
0.
Because this is where Uganda will have to go around and show if they really want to retain their lead and win the Elgon Cup, or whether they'll buckle over and let Kenya steamroll over them.
Yeah.
Isaac Adimo there with the conversion attempt from a very acute angle. Wonderful kick there by Isaac Adimo from one of the tightest corners. Fast conversion and fast kicks through the post for the game as well. Kenya 12, Uganda 0.
26-21 on aggregate to Kenya A.
Now this is going to open up. This is when it becomes a cracker, and this is when you can see the hunger.
Well, speaking last weekend to Kenya A team manager Newton Ongalo, he ruled a lot of things. And there in our picture, that was Joe Muganda and Mwangi Muthe, two great supporters of Kenyan rugby. Joe Muganda, the managing director of East African Breweries, and Mwangi Muthe, the Kenya Rugby Union chairman. Anyway, the match resumes. And as I was saying, Newton Ongalo ruled missed chances last week, and it seems as though the call to the team is that they be clinical.
Definitely, indeed. I mean, it would actually be tantamount to a level of carelessness if one does not learn from the mistakes, especially a weaker part.
Playing advantage for the knock.
Govimbe, they just looked like he was out of ideas. Picked the ball, kicked it up, and was perhaps waiting for manna to fall down from heaven. No advantage play there by the referee, so he'll call it back for the scrum put-in.
Right, crouch, bind, set.
Scrum put-in
That's
the
out.
Leiden Agero.
That's fine.
Caught up in a
Away,
spot of
away.
weather. I'm not certain whether Agero and Chitui
Move,
had
move, no,
coordinated
no,
that
hands,
quite
hands.
well. It looks
No
like
hands,
it's a turnover.
No hands. Fine, no hands. Well done. Taken back.
No, they managed to keep it somehow. Nadimo runs off.
Playing
Sells the
advantage.
dummy.
I don't think Mbeya,
Advantage for the
perhaps when Madimo looked like he was looking for a switch there.
He eventually sold the dummy, but dropped the ball and turned over possession.
The Ugandans on the rampage,
Right away.
still retaining the
Fine,
ball
there it is,
possession,
there it is.
deep within the
There it
Kenyan
is, that's fine.
territory.
Use it,
Will they be able to
Use
make it
that.
count?
Use it.
That's
Arthur
Arth-
Mukama retaining
Right
the
away,
possession
right.
there for the Ugandans.
wearing the number 6 shirt for so long, worn by Robert Sseguya.
Yet
Wait,
another
wait.
great Ugandan stalwart. Tough as nails.
I
Saw him
went-
earlier on
What the
coaching the
devil?
Ugandan 19 team. Brian Sagara with a very uncharacteristic break, but a good thing gets halted right in the middle of the way. Did a great run and just didn't have the presence of mind to retain the ball well within his hands.
Captain, what you want?
Smashing off Joseph Aredo there in the replay
Come on, line out.
and losing up the ball to the same person moments later.
But look at his ball carrying technique. He was always bound to lose that ball after going into contact.
Definitely indeed.
Roll it.
Well spoken. It's one thing that you probably see with the seasoned rugby players shifting the ball from left to right, depending on the position that they have on the offensive play.
go.
But it's something that you really
Scrum.
don't get to see on a much lower,
Marks here.
scale, like
Come to
game
left.
between Kenya and Uganda, for instance.
But still a very big hit, Hilary.
Definitely, indeed, of course, that's a beauty. Such are the moments that I live for.
That's fine, that's fine.
I don't.
Crouch. Bind.
I don't. I experienced them one too
Set.
many times.
For all those who are scared
Step
about the
on,
comments we're having
step on.
in here, we
Sit,
actually
move
nice
back,
family men.
Move back, move back.
And we love children.
Go back, back.
And children love
Back.
us too.
Thank you indeed. Ball goes on through. Ball still being retained by the Uganda Craze. Great piece of work there by Patrick Leku. Yet another high tackle. And I think the referee might probably be losing his patience sometimes. And that's the third high tackle within the first half.
Okay, one.
Ivan McMort set to kick up for a penalty. Doesn't look like it's going out. It goes dead and the ball will be taken back to the center because the ball bounced all there. So the ball will be taken back to the center for a Kenya scrum put-in.
Went it. Okay.
Well, things not going Uganda's way here at the RFUEA Grounds. Literally, the under-19s lost the Elgon Cup encounter to the Kenya under-19s. The women's team lost
Here's the
the
mark.
under-19
Don't give me
encounter
mark.
against the Kenya women team. At this point in time, they're trailing 12-0 to Kenya A, and on aggregate also 26-21. But remember, rugby is a game of two halves. it's far
Right,
from
coach.
over.
Definitely indeed. Having seen Uganda
Fine.
playing over the years, I wouldn't
Set.
rule them out of this
Hold
yet.
it, hold it.
12 points is still any man's game, and they've
It's out.
actually been able to show their abilities in the contact phases, and definitely there's still a lot more to play for. Dalmas Chitui just being pummeled on back, but doing very well to return the ball possession. Isaac Adimo kicking up deep high, Okia
Right.
crossing it out, and Leon Adongo getting the ball back somehow. Fabian Orlando smashed by Marvin Adongo. He didn't even have a second to try and pick
Fine.
himself up from getting the ball. Neto Simiu with a dummy, breaks right through,
Went
pops the
back,
ball
right.
to no one. Retrieved by Agero. Agero smash it to Malcolm Monsando. This time he retains the ball, gets it out to Sagara. Sagara goes on him. Malcolm Monsando still up there to support him. The Ugandans moving into
That's
droves. Managed to pick up the ball because no Kenyan was interested in getting the rack. Very unfortunate piece of play there.
But also
The Ugandans-
Sagara's presentation was a bit delayed.
Definitely indeed.
Right.
I mean, you'd almost have expected them to have the temerity to ensure that all the balls in an offensive play would be retained. But you get the feeling that they expected the ball to be popped from the deck, for instance. And Malcolm Monsando caught in two minds in
Went
there.
back.
Almost getting advantage there, Marvin Odongo. This is actually opening up.
It is opening up. Remember, there's all to play for. They're
Release it on the ground there, release it.
For the next
Fine.
12 months. And a lot
Went
of
backwards.
social media was.
Right, no
Already
going.
ongoing.
No hands, no hands. Vantage over.
Fabian Orlando looks like he wants to give just as much as been given by the Ugandans, smashing in there on his opposite number, Oscar Kalyango.
Meanwhile, Joseph Aredo again being attended to by the medics. That would be a bad sign for the Ugandans.
Hold on.
Because he's supposed to be the creative player. Supposed to be the
Captain.
one pulling the strings in midfield and basically just calling the shots on the day.
Definitely need, of course, very limited
tackle, huh?
pieces of
high
space
tackle.
being
Okay.
kept
Last one.
by each and every one within the back lines of both teams. But there's been a lot of heavy contact within the forwards. So really I wonder that all of them are still walking up and about. It's been quite hectic and
jump?
frenetic.
It has been an almighty
No,
battle.
I've just
Hillary.
told the captain, no more warning cards now for high tackles.
If you're just joining us, we're towards the end of the first half here at the RFUEA Grounds. Kenya A
This will be the
leading
last
Uganda's
play.
Rugby Cranes 12-0 in this
No,
Elgon
there's no
Cup
time
return match.
because it's just 40. It'll be the last play.
The scores are 26-21 on aggregate. Kenya A in the pole position.
The second leg. Game going on is our third game, the big one, Kenya A against Uganda. It scores Kenya A 10.
And just some of the action there.
0.
And Joseph Aredo,
Earlier on today, Kenya Lionesses
he has struggled in this first half, Hillary.
Definitely indeed. Of course, credit also to the Ugandans. They've actually gone and shown the ability to be able to take the battle right up into the Kenyan territories. They have not shown any indication of being the away team.
I think that's positive and it's good for the game of rugby.
Timothy Cabonero pummeling his way in there. Giles Little just perhaps caught off a bit off guard in there. Should have been able to close on in on Cabonero earlier and make the tackle.
Use it! Use it!
Mahmoud looking for numbers to come on through, and the Kenyans looking at trying to do the
Stay
counter back.
onside!
Mahmoud this time much more decisive, getting the ball to Odong. Ball just floats on out.
Playing
And
advantage.
Neto Simiu looks like he's running in to try and set up something. Gets the ball, boosters one, passes the ball to Fabian Orlando. They've got numbers on the left. Fabian Orlando does not elect to utilize them. Takes the ball into contact.
Away
Looks
black!
like he's in a bit of a
There's no rock
twine in
there.
there.
There's no rock!
Referee says the ball is open. Eden Agero gets held up, pops the ball up into the air, gets into Mbeya. Mbeya has looked a bit pedestrian. Still Chitu gets the ball. Filippo War with the ball.
As the buzzer for halftime goes.
Fine. Right, release now, release, on the ground. Release.
Looks like the ball
No, he
has
had got it,
somehow
it was
been
on his
retained
feet.
by the Kenyan forwards in there. Good numbers out. Adimo has Leon Adongo. Does he elect to use him? No, he elects to chimmy in and out. Quick rack out. Stem ball goes out right. Karia pops the ball out. Sagara, appended, still manages to keep the ball. This is
Fine,
looking
it's legal.
very, very promising for Kenya so far. Right up until that moment where they
Wait,
lost
wait,
the
wait.
ball and Uganda
There.
get the advantage.
It's been positive from Kenya
Let's
the
play
last
over
5
there.
minutes,
Yeah.
taking
Play
the
there.
game to the
Back 10,
Ugandans,
guys,
putting
back
them
10.
on the back foot as the Ugandans boot the ball out into touch. Uncharacteristically, you'd expect them to actually attack and go for some points just before halftime. But anyway, it's 12-0 at halftime, Kenya A in the ascendancy.
Definitely still
1-2,
a lot to
1-2,
play for in
1-2.
the second half. We'll take up to the halftime break or the interval. Kenya lead 12 points to 0 in the 2014 Elgon Cup.
And from here, we're going to go to Larry Asego in the studio.
Rudisha is ready. Are you? Scrumdown, an all-new rugby magazine show that focuses on the region's rugby scene. Back up, Red. Player profile.
I started playing rugby back in high school.
Analysis. And a look at the legends from East Africa. Watch Scrumdown every Friday at 7:30 p.m. only on Zuku Sports.
ATP Uncovered. Get unrivaled behind-the-scenes access to the most exciting tennis players on earth in full HD. Find out what happens off the court with player profiles and tournament stories. Follow the ATP Tour and Grand Slam finals with in-depth features and tactical analysis. Become a tennis insider with ATP Uncovered. New episodes each Wednesday on Zuku Sports.
You play, but it's Nakama. And it's halftime at the RFUEA Grounds for the big one. It's the Elgon Cup, Kenya A versus the Uganda Cranes. And this is a tough match. Don't let the scores cheat you. It is 12-0 to Kenya A. But Segu, I have to say this. The Ugandans really want this. You people want this game.
We want it.
You want it.
We want it. We didn't come here to participate.
You came here to win it.
Compete.
But I think Joe this time around is going to be smiling all the way.
I think the scoreboard is saying different.
No, you can smile about it now.
Yeah.
It's 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
It's on the 40.
40 gone.
Yeah.
But the first half looks good for us. The scoreboard says everything. But technically speaking, we are lagging behind the Ugandans. And kicking away possession when we shouldn't and just run the ball.
Yes.
And then when we kick the ball again, our chase lines are not there. So the Ugandans are seeing these holes and coming through, especially Chimono, Marvin, and Odong, who's leading the forwards quite good. So we really need to cap them, despite the loss with Chimono, who's got an injury, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think that will also help us a lot in keeping the trophy here. What do you think?
You see, Joe has to say. Joe has to say because he's a happy man right now. Yeah?
He's a happy man now.
He's happy, but I know at the end of the 88th minute,
he'll be crying.
He'll be crying. We've made many mistakes. If you look at the first try they scored.
Yes.
It was a giveaway.
Off a mistake, yes.
Yeah, giveaway. Really, sensibly, you can't play in your try.
I mean, that was a comedy of errors because, when you're actually in your try box, you just clear your lines.
You go for safety.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Second try, missed. And, if we say right now, we've been having 70% possession,
yes.
playing.
Yeah.
But only guys have failed to convert possession into scoring. Mm-hmm. We're attacking fine. But again, my forwards, Joe is saying our forwards are doing well. To me, no.
They're not doing well.
They are not at all. Mm-hmm. You see, that's why they are getting sucked in.
Because all of them are engaging at the breakdown.
Exactly. No one is playing now off. We're not playing the off. But if one of the leaders in the forward, you say on the 4 in the breakdown, 4 waiting for the ball, Kenyans cannot play it.
Because all the 8 are going in, and then the scrummer fast, nobody else to have the ball to give it to the back, and the backs cannot do much with it.
Which is not the case with the Kenyans.
Yeah.
They are committing just fewer forwards.
At the breakdown,
and
then they have numbers on the outside.
Exactly.
But Kenya is still struggling with the finishing, just like they did last weekend in
Yes.
Kampala. And as you can see, they've had a number of breaks, but the support play is not coming through as we expected to.
Yeah.
And of course, when Eden and Isaac, they do the dummy and the step through, the centers are not running through. And
there's somebody to take on the bus.
They should come through and take the good angle lines, and they'll definitely break through. But that's not coming through.
Yes, Segu.
Joe, don't say there's no support. They are tired. Because you are giving them something to play. They're tired. I'm telling you, they're just tired. They are willing. They have the heart, you see.
Segu is talking tough today. You are talking tough today.
Yeah. Because my boys are not doing, man. The thing is, we can beat Kenya.
They're not capitalizing on the Kenyan mistakes.
They're not. They know, like, we have a ball we chase, one-man chases.
Yes.
And all the Kenyans fall back. Turnover, attack Uganda.
Yeah.
Which I don't expect to happen in the second half. Looking at the second half coming on, I'm telling you it's going to be different. Let me hope Peter is looking at it.
If the Kenyans can sort out their set plays, like the scrum down, you know, the Ugandans are pushing us back.
Yeah.
That should not be happening.
Ugandans are very physical. I mean,
they're quite physical, and you can see that. So, you know, the technical bench needs to do something about it. Either they beef up the forwards. If they see the forwards that are there tired, then as Segu says, you just have to change them. There's no ways about it.
But Segu, how many people are you going to change? I mean, do you see any changes? What does Uganda need to do different for them to clinch this?
Right now, I'm telling you, we keep the ball in the forward. Honestly speaking, the Kenyans run the ball better. They run the ball better, truth be said. But when they play the physical game, I don't think they can survive. We have better moving forwards on the bench.
Yes.
Let me hope Peter is making a positive change and is looking at the tired forwards. If he does that, be ready to go. And then he also tells his players not to get committed, all of them, even when in attack mode.
Yes.
We are not all supposed to go there.
So 4 in, 4 out to take the next phase.
Exactly.
But
4 in, 4 out.
also, your forwards are also getting tired because you know our forwards are also trying to hold them up and drive them back on their
You cannot sustain it for 80 minutes.
They can't sustain it for 80 minutes.
Wait and see. No, that's what he's saying. Don't say that there's no support. Your boys are tired. Our boys are tired. But your boys are more tired than us. You know, they are playing home, but they're getting tired. 12-0 to me.
Well, it's not a big margin. It's only two tries and you're in the game.
We're in. A penalty, a try converted.
Yes.
We're in.
You know, if we just keep the game plan simple, just play the forwards 2-3 phases, out to the backs, we run through, or we look for the green space, look for where the corners are, put the ball there, always put them under pressure. Because the Ugandans get the ball in the half, they kick it back to us. But for us, we're trying to run from our 10-yard, from our try line on the 5-yard and trying to score.
Use so much energy in the wrong half.
By the time we get to the green zone, you know, when we're supposed to score, guys are so tired and
they can't
deliver.
So it's basically about the finishing.
Yeah, it's just the finishing. But
Segu, you're saying it's about the forward play, not playing as a unit.
As a unit, yeah.
Okay.
Because you could see, many times we're attacking, all are in. Nobody's even making a PD. No one is getting a runoff. We're all sucked in.
Yes.
But if you could do that, and also what I've seen, if we can deploy the double tackle, the Kenyans cannot survive double tackle, gang tackling all the time. One down and up.
But you see the gang tackling, how much can you keep up that game for? Because gang tackling is good. But the thing is, it takes a lot of energy for you to be able to gang tackle. How fit is the Ugandan squad?
And that's the simplest defensive method. If you saw Zimbabwe, Kenya, the Zimbabwe guys deployed the double tackling against Kenyans.
True.
Exactly, and the Kenyans could not last. You know, if you hit hard, 2 people hitting one, you get tired. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
But
I think
you know, the double
double tackle is going to happen.
Segu, the double tackles will only be effective if you're defending, you know, close to your try line. Because if you do it in the midfield, your guys will equally get tired. And they're doing the double tackles, but they're not getting the turnovers. You know what? The double tackle should give you the turnover, and that way you'll have the advantage.
The concept of a double tackle is that one who tackles low stays down, one who tackles up contests for the ball.
Contests for the ball.
They will do it, yes, and they'll get turnovers.
But your boys are not doing it, man.
It's going to happen.
Is it a matter of fitness? Gentlemen, fitness is at this level of the game. We shouldn't be talking about fitness right now.
It's about commitment.
Yeah, but
they are trying to forget a bit what to do.
Personally, I think it is an issue at the moment.
Joe knows. I don't have respect here.
You don't have respect for this ground.
I don't have respect here.
Joe, that's a very strong allegation.
I've done it here, behind his back. Even when you were the captain. When I was the captain for Uganda, I did it. And these boys can do it. You know?
You know, Segu, from when we started playing with you, you've won 2-3 times here. But we've won all the others. You know, if you count for 12 seasons.
Yes.
3 out of...
If we let these guys talk any further, they are going to get into a physical fight. We cannot have that. This is about rugby. We are disciplined. We are going into the second half. I mean, gentlemen, we've been speaking about this. Only one team is going to be able to win it, be it Uganda, be it Kenya. It's all in the good spirit of the game. And, I mean, Uganda, you guys are going to bring it in the second half. But, of course, as Joe said in the first half, just play as a unit and you might just see a different style of play for the Kenyans in the second half. We are going to the second half. We'll see you after 40 minutes. Gentlemen, let's go and enjoy the game. Let's go and enjoy the game. After 40 minutes, we'll be right back.
The interval, playing in red, running from right to left on your screens. Game starting from the very, very frenetic pace that it ended with, it would appear. Uganda quickly get a line out deep within the Kenyan territory.
Dalmas Chitui looks to be in a bit of discomfort, clutching at his ankle earlier on. Maybe he's going to walk it off, but that has been the start to the second half.
Definitely, of course. It was quite an end-to-end affair towards the end of the first half. Looks that the energy levels have not dipped. Players look like they want to pick up from where they left off.
And if you're joining us, Kenya A leading Uganda's Rugby Cranes 12-0 here at the RFUEA Grounds. It's an Elgon Cup return match. Kenya A also up ahead on aggregate 26-21.
Patrick Leku just retaining the ball position there for Uganda. Bishop Onen, who has actually been quiet in the first half, getting his first chance to show what he's made of, just smashing the ball into the very, very solid Kenyan defense line there. Of course, we've seen a lot of that man in the first half. Romano Gwal picking up from where he left off. Leku captain Brian Odong smashes off Adimo, manages to get the ball past Lawrence Wakabi, doing very well to return the ball possession. Marvin Odong getting smashed by Sagara. Sagara showing a little bit more aggression and better tackling than he did within the first half. Was guilty for having made two high tackles. Romano Gwal, like you said, Mike, still the go-to man.
He is the go-to man. And, you know, the way the second half has begun, pretty much as it did in the first half, Uganda doing all the probing early on.
Isaac Adimo just slowly tracking that ball. Did he cross over with it? It would appear that the referee thinks that the ball ended, but 50-50 call there.
Well, that's why you and I are in the commentary booth, and Syke Sibanda is officiating this game. We were not sure.
Definitely, indeed. There'll be a scrum put in for Uganda. I think he may have been playing advantage. So the ball going dead within the 22, sorry, within the try box will not actually amount to anything. There was advantage play that was being played.
Yeah, it looks like it. At this moment in time, it is advantage Uganda. However, the scores, Kenya A 12, Uganda Rugby Cranes 0. Aggregate score, Kenya A 26, Uganda Rugby Cranes 21. The Elgon Cup is at stake. And for those who are asking, if this game is tied on aggregate at the end of normal time, we shall go into extra time.
There has never been a stalemate in the history of the Elgon Cup, but that might actually change.
The closest
Uganda only 7 points adrift in the total aggregate. If they should go around and score a converted try, we may have a stalemate and we may require to perhaps get into sudden death.
Yes. That's Wakabi taking it in. He has men coming in numbers there. Makmot just playing it in to Timothy Cabonero. This is a good moment for the Ugandans.
Definitely Cabonero tossing and turning, picking up on the straws that Romano Gwal had left onto him. Great telling moment in there. Carrier getting the ball straight out to Kelvin Omio. Omio doing the wise thing, trying to kick for touch. Good kick moving on through. He's got runners coming up through. Fabian Orlando misses the ball. Mbeya gets it. Does he have the speed? Mbeya looks like he has a gas to burn. Very unlucky there by the Uganda Cranes. Godfrey Mbeya showing, basically getting his first touch at 10 yards with the ball in hand.
It shows that he's been aware throughout this game, because even though he hadn't seen much of the ball in the first half, he had the presence of mind to keep up the chase, just gathering that ball after a tricky bounce and out-sprinting his Ugandan opposition to touchdown. Advantage Kenya A at this point.
That's what a cruel bounce of a rugby ball can cause onto you. Ball just looked like it was going to be easily fielded by Oscar Kaliango, but he let the ball bounce a bit too much and fortunately pay the price when he let the rugby ball bounce. So Kenya extend their lead by an extra 5 points, 17 points to 0, as Kodimo there with the conversion attempt set to come. Isaac Adimo misses a conversion. So the scores remain 17 points to 0 for Kenya.
17. Uganda Rugby Cranes, 0.
Kenya A leading on aggregate 31, I beg your pardon, 31-21 against the Rugby Cranes.
Ivan McCourt kicks deep, goes all the way down to Delmas Chitu, fills it, gets it back to Eden Agero, who also has a hefty boot. Agero decides to attack, and Kenya on the rampage. Neto Simiu picks it up. Kenya look like they're actually charging up. Karia with the ball, gets tackled. Does he have numbers to return the possession? This is looking extremely exciting for the Kenyans. Unfortunate there, the referee judges that Karia did not let the tackler play the ball.
Well, tough luck for the Kenyans. Their tails up as the second half begins. Well, as it stands, Uganda must score 12 points to have any hope of winning this Elgon Cup.
Eden Agero just sliced through the defense like someone would probably, thread a needle. Look for the smallest gap and just manage to get right through. Great piece of work there. And great awareness from him and fullback Neto Simiu.
I remember reading a newspaper article, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, Kenya A head coach Dominic Habimana urging his charges to be clinical as they faced the Uganda Rugby Cranes.
Ball looks like it was held up there by Giles Littlewood, though Uganda looking like they're keen on consolidating and keeping the ball on their end. Littlewood are judged to have been in an offside position, not allowing the ball to be played. McMott kicking out for the line out. Uganda just slowly look like they're trying to get their act together. They've been shell-shocked with that try, and of course you'd actually expect them to perhaps just lose a bit of their stride.
Well, they still have all of 33 minutes to put points on the board and win a first Elgon Cup since 2012. They have their work cut out, and it has to begin now from that maul. But
the ball just somehow manages to pop out from what looked like it was a well-formed maul, and Kenya capitalizing on it. Isaac Adimo will definitely try and kick down. Solomon Okia and Lawrence Wakabi back down deep in the Uganda territory. Okia elects to go for a very high up and under. Ball well fielded by Mbeya, the try scorer moments ago. Mbeya slicing through again. And it looks like he's been buoyed and his confidence levels look like they've increased tumultuously with that try. Orege gets into the action. Ganged up.
Manages
to return the ball.
He went through.
And look like the turn of position.
On your feet.
Judges
On your
that it was
feet.
done illegally, so
On your
Kenya
feet.
have a penalty advantage there. Karia just being told by his teammates
Captain.
to cool it off.
Where's the captain?
Very excitable young lad there.
Okay, hold on.
I think he was 20. He was a member of the Kenya Under-19 squad over the past 2 years. Of course, as you said, a very excitable lad. This is a good learning experience for the young man.
Definitely, indeed, of course. Just having a chance to look at the Under-19 team playing earlier on and looking at this younger crop of the Kenya players playing on. I mean, of course, it gives you an indication as to the level of rugby being played in the East African region. And definitely a sign of better things yet to come.
True indeed. Meanwhile, a shot of the crowd here at the RFUEA Grounds. People have turned up in numbers to see East Africa's greatest rugby rivalry take place, albeit with a different actor this time in Kenya A. Remember, the main Kenya team only returned from Rugby World Cup qualifying duty 2 weeks ago, and it was elected that they rest. Not taking anything away from the Ugandans, they have been worthy competitors over the past, and even in today's game, it's 17-0. We still have all of 30 minutes, and anything could happen.
Definitely, I don't think we'd actually be able to confidently say that this game is done. There's more than enough to play for. I think the 17-0 scoreline maybe flatters the Kenyan side, but the Ugandans have definitely shown ability to be able to get back into this game. There's more than adequate time remaining on the clock.
Right, substitution, Black. Wait.
Looks like there'll be a substitution for Uganda.
Substitution, Uganda.
It would appear that David Choelabie will be getting onto the field of play.
Wait. Substitution. Okay, let's play. Let's play.
I think Choelabie has been told to sit down. I don't think the injured party was too serious to merit a substitution.
Four.
So Kenya back on the rampage. Eden Aguero getting the ball out. Chitui rummaging, takes 4 Ugandans to bring Chitui down.
Black away.
Ball presented onto the Kenyan side. Aguero, pass it to Orege to Onsando. Onsando does well, shrugs off one. He runs, passes the ball to Captain Makori. This is looking good for the Kenyans now.
Playing where they need to play, but referee Sykes Sibanda halts the momentum.
He went off, huh? He went down. Yeah.
Ugandans realizing the Kenyans were not extremely well alert and almost punishing them there.
Yeah, but you take it over there and see. Ah, come on.
49 minutes of the second half played. Beg your pardon, not 49 minutes of the second half. That would mean the game would be over. It's actually 9 minutes of the second half played, and it's 17-0 to Kenya A against the Uganda Rugby Cranes.
The game is truly living up to its billing as an exciting encounter.
Play on.
And with every passing minute, the excitement just keeps on increasing a notch higher. Godfrey Mbeya with the ball, just tackle short of the 22-meter line.
Ball's out.
Ball spreads on out. Chitui gets it out. Captain Makori with the ball. Neto Simiu pops the ball all the way out to Kelvin Omio. Kelvin Omio taking the ball quite in. The referee calls for a high tackle, so there'll be a penalty advantage there for Kenya. Eden Aguero has got numbers out there. Decides to keep over. Fabian Orlando chasing down Kaliango. And there's no penalty advantage in that field of play, so the referee will call it back up for a Kenya penalty for the high tackle on Kelvin Omio.
And you feel that's the reason why Eden Aguero, just spotting the referee playing advantage for Kenya, elected to kick that ball, because he knew something would turn into their favor.
Of course, definitely. Eden Aguero, a very, very experienced player, just ensuring that, you know, having a bite at the cherry, because you really can't rule out the fact that as you go on playing, you might be able to score the try. So not actually want to just sit down and, you know, wait for the whistle to come up, showing the ability and willingness to have the continuity.
And Aguero is still only 23 years old. All that experience is accumulated, showing thus far in this match. What were you doing at 23, Hillary?
There's a very skinny fella with a very nice red Kenya shirt in there, perhaps a team mascot in there. Of course, a very, very nice show of color right across the stadium in there.
You've got to love the colorful Kenyan fans.
Beauty of Africa. Isaac Adimo decides to go in for the kick on the penalty awarded. The penalty kick is not successful, so the scores remain. Kenya 17, Uganda 0.
31-21 on aggregate.
The penalty kicking department has really not been one of the better parts of this particular game. We've seen a lot of great crunching tackles in the forwards. We've seen a lot of very ingenious backline moves, but the kicks have just not clicked in this match. Malcolm Onsando and Isaac Adimo both caught up in two minds in there. No one really calling out for the ball.
No.
And gifting possession to Uganda.
No, stay. Release him.
Odongo. Makmot playing it into Chris Lubanga.
Release.
That was a solid tackle on Patrick Leku.
Release.
Still the Ugandans carrying the ball forward.
More vicious tackling just being
picked
up from both sides in there.
Nope. That's the battering
Bishop
ram.
Onen being the latest casualty in that last tackle. Marvin Odongo getting the gap in there, being brought down by Bran Sagara. Bran Sagara looks like he's been improving as the game has been ongoing.
Like wine, he's just getting better with time.
Release. No hands.
Interesting fact about Bran Sagara. He plays at second row for his club, KCB. Today being deployed at flank. And that's serving himself quite well, Hillary.
Back.
The crowd seemed to believe that there was something questionable in that interplay there. Referee didn't seem to think so. Let it go on, and
that's a 50-50
Fabian
ball
Orlando
there.
chases down. Will he be able to go around and benefit from something? Yes, he does. Referee calls for an advantage on a knock-on. Neto Simiyu steps. Neto Simiyu has got numbers. Will he use them? Gives the ball out to Eden Agero. Agero has the speed. Agero goes all the way down. Great work there by Neto Simiyu. Doesn't feel like he's been out of any national team scepter because he just fits in snugly like a glove.
The real Neto Simiyu has shown up today. This is what Neto Simiyu is capable of. And remember, he was one of the 3 changes into the matchday lineup made by Dominique Habimana, the other 2 being Brian Sagara and Eden Agero, and notably Hillary. These are players who have been on our lips today. They've been on our tongues. We've mentioned them. They've actually had an impact on the game thus far. The aggregate score is now Kenya 36, Uganda 21. We still have 26 minutes to play here at the RFUEA Grounds as we see the crowd here getting animated, awaiting the conversion from...
The Kenyans ring up their fast changes. Godfrey Mbeya, try scorer moments ago, comes out, and I think the person comes in is Jacob Ojay in his place. So Jacob Ojay comes in into the wing to replace try scorer Godfrey Mbeya. Also, Antonio Rege gets a rest, and Isaiah Nyariki comes in the tight end position. Conversion by Adimo, good. Kenya extend their lead to 24 points to 0.
38-21 on aggregate. The aggregate score is 38-21 in favor of Kenya.
Malcolm Monsando this time getting the ball, but getting smashed moments later by a rampaging run by John Wandicho. Neto Simiyu moving into the flyer position, getting the ball, kicking it all the way down till Ivan McMott's boot. Ivan looks left, right, center, runs through, loses the ball. Nyariki gets his first bite of the cherry. Nyariki runs on through. Very encouraging running from a tight head prop, but definitely signaling his intention in the game. Neto Simiyu with the ball, gets it to Leon Adongo. Leon Adongo makes a meal of it. Still their numbers out at Fabian Orlando calls for the ball. They've got numbers out in there. Isaac Adimo, Jacob Ojay gets his first touch at the ball. We all know Jacob Ojay from the 7th circuit last season. He was the outstanding player in the entire series, and he's got a lot of pace to burn. But unfortunately, his first touch is not as successful as Nyariki's. And it all ends up in a line out.
Probably still just settling into the game. Another substitution for Kenya. On comes Rocky Aguko. We all remember Rocky Aguko, captain of the Kifaru side that stand Papa to win the Bamburi Rugby Super Series close to a month ago. He comes on to the field of play.
Player who's actually as tough as nails, Rocky Aguko.
He replaces,
definitely great to see him putting on the Kenyan jersey.
And he replaces Brian Sagara.
It looks like there'll be wholesome changes being done. Just from the corner of the screen, you can see all the substitutes being asked to warm up. It looks like Kenya are looking at using the entire bench. Looks like Victor Brown might be the next person to come on in. You can see head coach Dominique Abimana just having a chat with Victor Brown and Ken Mosetti. Very exciting player, Ken Mosetti.
Ken Mosetti, Hillary, is not the biggest player on the pitch, but he's a player with a big heart, big character, and a big hit.
Definitely did. Quite a pleasurable young man, very decent, and a beast on the pitch. Only about 5'7", but he's got biceps that can go around and almost rival his height. I think his bicep might be about 5'7" as well. Very bulky fellow, almost looks like built in the mold of a bodybuilder.
Coach! Bind! Set!
Ivan McMott to the scrum put in for Uganda. Isaiah Nyariki looks like he's actually added some impetus, a great and better Kenyan scrummaging machine right there. Odong goes down, ball somehow manages to come out to Timothy Cabonero, who gains some invaluable hard yards. Still ball being retained by Uganda. McMott gets it out. Isaac Adimo all the way on the back. There's no fullback home and Adimo has to cover. Manages to almost get it. There'll be a knock-on call in there surely. Referee says that Isaac Adimo pulled back Wakabi, so there'll be a Uganda penalty.
And probably from this, the Ugandans can build. They still have all of 22 minutes to play. They have their work cut out. They're trailing 38-21 on aggregate. They need to score at this point in time. They need to score 18 unanswered points to win the Elgon Cup. They have a game on their hands. They have to chase. Probably this can be the turning point for the Rugby Cranes.
The Cranes look like they're trying to decide on what they'll do. They look like they will not elect for the line-out. This is probably something from the training ground. You can see Captain Odong getting the ball, popping it all out. A great simple ramage all through, and they pop the ball out somehow.
That was Andrew
Ng'ang'a tries to attack right from the try line. Does the most sensible things, decides to kick.
Andrew Olwenyi, guilty of popping the ball on the try line. He had done all the hard work. Hillary, it was just to place it down. What do you think didn't work there?
He'd already gotten over the line, and I just don't understand how he didn't get it down.
Meanwhile, you can follow the Elgon Cup on social media using the hashtag Elgon Cup on Facebook and Twitter.
Woeful passing, just sees the ball going out for a Uganda line-out. Next changes in for Kenya. Felix Wanjala comes into the scrum of position, and we'll wait to confirm whether Eden Agero will move into number 10. And Fabian Orlando also makes way in the number 13 position for Ken Mosetti. So yes, Isaac Adimo comes out from the number 10 position, and I think Eden Agero will take the number 10 position, while Felix Wanjala will now move into the scrum of position. Wanjala with his first touch of the ball, popping it out straight to Philip O'War. Philip has been very impressive. Ken Mosetti with his first touch just has an ability to be in the right place, Ken Mosetti. Agero, live wire with Neto Simiu. This time Neto a bit slow with the passing. And Leonard Dongo's finger touching the line means that it will be a Uganda line out.
Talk about Hawkeye technology from Nicholas Gashoya. Hawkeye does it.
Absolutely amazing.
You know, it looked like a disputed call until Leon stood up and you could see some dust rising. This is how it came about.
His entire body and the ball was still in, but it's just the slightest touch on the white.
I think it was his fingernail on his little finger.
Probably gives him a case to go around and do pedicures before a game. Wouldn't be too happy with himself when he sees that.
If you're just joining us, the scores are 24-0. Kenya A against Uganda Rugby Cranes here at the RFUEA Grounds in Nairobi. July has been a cold month for most Nairobians, but the sun decided to show up and watch the Elgon Cup as well, Hillary.
I think the gods of rugby must have remembered that the Ugandans were coming to town. Uganda, of course, a very warm tropical country off the shores of Lake Victoria. Definitely different climate compared to Nairobi. Much more hotter, much more humid compared to Nairobi at altitude, and a more chillier area.
No!
Penalty advantage goes Kenya's way. Felix Wanjala keen to go around and just get the continue moving on through. And you can see that he's quite keen. You can see right there with the red and black skull cap is Rocky Aguko. Player for Kenyatta University's Black Blood. Standout player in this year's Super Series event. Definitely earning a chance to play for the Kenyan national A team.
Felix Wanjala, who just came on for Isaac Adimo, has actually played for the Kenya team previously. In 2010, he was part of the squad that beat Uganda to win the Elgon Cup.
1, 2.
Kenya ringing more changes. Out comes veteran Giles Littlewood. In his place is Dennis Mukabi, and Ezra Lagat will also replace Peter Carrier. So of course Kenya now playing with an entirely different front row from the one that started the game.
And one thing, Hillary, about Giles Littlewood is his career progression. many years at Nondi's, no titles. 2 seasons at Nakuru, 2 Kenya Cup titles. Bamburi Rugby Super Series.
Wait, advantage over.
All in the span of 2 years.
Absolutely great individual, a very, very tenacious figure. Did actually have the honor of playing with him at
Right,
Street.
rock now.
Great lad. Always makes me
Stay back.
feel very nostalgic. And of
Fine.
course, at the age of 33, still playing, definitely showing that age is
Playing advantage.
Meanwhile, the Kenyans spurning a try-scoring opportunity there, just let down by poor handling and turning over possession to the Uganda Rugby Cranes.
Okay, no advantage there. We'll take the knock here. Take the knock first.
The referee calling for a very, very early infringement. They're calling for a scrum down, Uganda ball advantage.
Men down.
Moments ago,
There's
there,
Marcus,
Leon
hold it
Adongo
here.
just butchering a chance.
Hold it here.
Had the ball begging, and the trial line was actually, trying to call on him, but seemed to be caught up in 2 minds.
Is it right? Masovo, okay. All right.
I think play has stopped as a Kenyan player gets treatment from the medics. 63 minutes of the match played. Kenya A 24, Uganda 0. The aggregate score is 38-21 in favor of Kenya A.
Okay, happy?
And it was the captain, Edwin Makori, coming back on his feet. He's not one to go down easily, so it must have been one big knock.
Rock solid man, plays his
Right,
rugby
crouch.
locally in Kenya for Nakuru RFC.
Crouch.
Who have been a runaway
Fine.
success in the Kenyan
Set.
rugby
Hold it.
segment for the last 2 years.
And Hillary, it's been great to see.
Stay bound,
Rugby
stay bound.
away from Nairobi.
The beautiful thing
Finding.
about Nakuru is the
This
structures
side.
that they have.
Finding.
It's just not only left to the senior level, they have a very elaborate age grade program. I do recall in last year's Safari Sevens event, they actually swept all the tackles in the age grade from under 12, under 10, under 14. Definitely some great stuff happening in the Kenyan Rift Valley town of Nakuru.
And this is also complemented by great rugby playing schools like Nakuru High and Menengai. Actually, Edwin Makori is an alumni of Menengai High School. Another change for Kenya A. Ezra Lagat is on for Peter.
Play!
As we head into the final 15 minutes
Away,
of
red!
this match.
Red away!
Now picture there is referee Sykes Sibanda from Zimbabwe.
Away, red!
John Wandicho moves in like the proverbial battering ram that he is, just smashing right through. Kenya make yet another change, coming in for Malcolm Monsanto's Victor Brown. So with that change, Kenya coach Dominic Habimana has utilized his entire bench. It would appear for the next 14 minutes, Kenya would have to find something special to ensure that they can retain the Elgon Cup, because Uganda are perhaps just not looking like they're about to sit down and lay. Much more positive rugby coming in from Uganda in the last 5 minutes, and I don't think I would be very fast to rule them out. I still think that there's a chance for some level of miracle in here.
The Rugby Cranes are definitely going to fight to the end. They're in the right place at the right time at this point. It's just for them to convert this possession and this territory into points.
Rocky Aguko gets his chance at the ball. Very devastating in the open, showing his ability. Great strong running by Rocky Aguko, the young man from Kenyatta University.
Taken back.
Gets the ball back to Eden Agero. Solomon Okia has been a bit silent over the last 10 minutes. Gets a chance to get the ball. Steps onto the left. Gets a high ball up in there. Neto Simi looks he'll be able to handle that. Spreads the ball out wide. Dalmas Chitui has got numbers. Decides to step back in. Chitui decides to take the ball into the forwards, sets up a platform. Wanjala gets
Three.
almost
Get
gets
back,
to the
three.
ball, I thought.
Fine.
The referee asked the Ugandans to
Fine.
move back to their side. Wanjala
Take
now
him back.
manages to get a clean ball. Agero, will he be able to get it all the way down? Makmod this time retrieves the ball. Okeo still held up. Wanjala
One side, Black, let's play.
playing a similar role like
Onside.
Makmod, the scrum of right at the back. He's got numbers, he's got Neto Simiyu and Leon Adongo. Neto Simiyu elects to kick for touch.
Get back.
Still doesn't get position, gets to the very devastating Marvin. And Marvin sinks his shoulder down. Neto Simiyu does well to hold him up.
Asamoah!
Fortunately, the drive is still being done by the Uganda Cranes.
Asamoah! Leave it now, leave it! Well done.
Ball has been
Well
slowed
done.
in there. The Ugandans need to get a quick ball to actually make anything of this platform. Andrew Wayne goes on in, consolidates up on the Ugandan possession. They still in territory. Unfortunate knock on Filippo War, the first to actually pick up on it, smashes down two players. Makmo did not know what was happening in there. Ken Moset is still the ball position. They've got numbers on the right. Wanjala elects to pass to Neto Simiyu. They've got numbers. Leonard Dongo gets the ball, pops it back to Wanjala. Wanjala has the ball, still has numbers, gets the ball out to the captain. Captain gets to Neto Simiyu, unfortunate with the knock on right there.
But that was a really good response from Kenya A, getting out of a spot of bother and pinning the Ugandans back into their half.
Very exciting. Should have probably been. I lost my count. I don't recall the number of faces. I lost count.
That was some great continuity from the Kenyans. Probably Edwin Makori's delivery to Neto Simiyu a tad too long.
You get a feeling that perhaps if Leonard Dongo had really had intention, he'd have been able to get that ball and probably told Makori, sorry, to pass it to him, or better tell Neto to leave it for him.
Right, we have it.
However, what's done is done. We have a scrum down.
Definitely, indeed.
What's off?
The new faces onto the pitch, showing they intend to try and cement their places and positions in this team. Of course, we've had a glimpse of what Victor Brown can do. We've already seen Rocky Aguko's powerful running that set up the platform for the good work that has been seen. And Felix Wanjala definitely showing the glimpses of a very nippy scrum half.
Yeah, great stuff from Felix Wanjala. Meanwhile, not in our picture, Bishop Onen is just being carried into the changing room. He looks like he's out with a knee injury. He'll play no further part in this game. And that means the Ugandans have lost their starting wings. They've lost Onen and they've lost Chimo.
No, it was inside
also
the
Aredo
22.
is out.
How can you see from there? Huh?
On comes
was
number
inside.
17, Dennis Mugambi Murithi, the Kenyan-born Ugandan prop.
There's been a lot of chat on social media, some of it alluding to the return of the prodigal son.
Well, he's home. He spends his holidays here. His family is here. He lives and works in Uganda. Opted to play for them. That was his choice, but...
That's a very interesting move. Marvin Odongo comes out.
Play!
He has been the battering ram and the go-to man. We'll wait to see whether this will actually affect any momentum that Uganda has been having in the match so far.
Hands! Fine, red, move! Black, move!
That ball at
Let him go, let him go.
About 10 yards.
That's fine, use it.
Took it into
Use
contact.
it.
Wanjala just playing it out. That's Agero. That's
Filippo War playing in an out-and-out position, not in the traditional expected role. That is OJ.
OJ is going to touch down.
Jacob OJ, I think, sinks the final nail on the coffin. Kenya extend their lead to 29.0. Jacob OJ. I think, Mike, we can honestly, truthfully state that this must be the last nail in the coffin.
Or maybe not.
At 29 points, I'd love to see the miracle that will occur in the next 9 minutes.
Let's speak after 80 minutes.
This will be the greatest miracle in rugby if Ugandan Cranes can get something within the next 8 minutes and win the Elgon Cup. Because as it stands on aggregate, Kenya 22 points adrift.
43-21 on aggregate. Uganda need to pile 23 points in the next 8 minutes to win the Elgon Cup. Eden Agero bracing himself for the conversion.
Eden Agero with the conversion attempt. He had the precision but did not have the power. So scores remain at 29 points to 0 for Kenya.
43-21 on aggregate.
He's looking to the future. There's another try. It's coming. It's coming. Neto Simi with a very deep punt deep down, and Jacob Oje picks the ball again, gets Ken Mosetti, great cover tackling there by the Ugandan Cranes. Neto Simi with the ball, passes it out, they've got numbers out, and Victor Brown scores a try.
Victor Brown.
It's them.
That was some great continuity, and Victor Brown. Definitely, this is now the last nail in the Ugandan coffin, Hillary.
I mean, you know, you always wonder whether if you bring in new substitutes, they'll be able to up the ante. I think the coach, Dominica Bimana, has his answer right there. They have definitely just come up and taken the game a couple of notches higher. And of course, the extra advantage that they've had on the levels of gas that they have in the system is just totally obliterating the Ugandan Cranes right now.
And Hillary, if I look back at the record books, this must be the biggest win in an Elgon Cup tie between Kenya and Uganda.
I concur, Mike. Ever since this tie was formalized between these two countries, it's always been a tight affair. Although Uganda Rugby have been experiencing lean times, much as I'm actually an avid sportsman, this is not a scoreline that I'd advocate for. You'd always want to have some level of competition in every rugby match. Eden Agero wide with the conversion. Scores remain Kenya 34, Uganda 0. No, Mike, I mean, honestly, I'm asking this with all honesty. Are you still expecting a miracle?
No, I told you this was the last nail in the Ugandan coffin. 34-0, 5 minutes to play.
Okay, I'll take your role. I am still waiting and praying for a miracle. How about that?
I trust your prayers, Hillary.
Goodness gracious.
We
this
just
is a
wonder
total
what kind
implosion.
of miracle it's going to be.
It was 12-0 at halftime. There have been 22 points rung in and answered in the second half. And with each and every minute running down the clock, you just get a feeling that the Ugandans are imploding more and more.
I think the try by Jacob Oje actually took the sting out of whatever they had. They've burnt up everything and they simply cannot get past the Kenyans. I think for them now, it's to go for consolation points because you don't want to leave Nairobi with no points on the board.
Of course, this is a whitewash, to be quite honest. Of course, both teams still missing some of their best players, but that notwithstanding, anytime you get a chance to put on your national team colors, you are representing the country. And this might be one of the not so good days for the Ugandan Cranes setup. They'll need to be able to pick themselves up sooner rather than later.
They have been well beaten, Hillary.
My English teacher would quip, they were hit fair and square. This is fair, square, rectangular, and triangular.
And circle.
Release him.
Definitely.
No
the 2 zeros
fine.
on the scoreboard show the 2 circles.
It's off the ground. He's got it.
Kenya
Fine.
A-side. Felix Wanjala just playing it out there. That's Agero. Omio. Simiu. This looks promising for Kenya. He has support in numbers and it arrives. They clean it up.
Neto Simi playing one of the games of his lives.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
He's a tackler. Get out now.
Last time I saw him play like this was during the 2010 Elgon Cup when Kenya swept Uganda home and away. Remember that time it was part of the Victoria Cup, also featuring Zimbabwe.
Hold it here. Hold it here.
Kenya get a chance to inflict a little bit more pain within the Ugandan scoreline. The line at about 7 yards by my estimation from the try line. Filippo just being careless there, losing out on the ball, and Uganda consolidate very quickly.
Get back, step back a bit.
They're not
step
looking
back.
at doing anything fancy. You do recall the first try that was scored in the match was as a result of some very frivolous play by Bishop Onen, who has since left the field of play injured.
And maybe, Hillary, that set the tone for the whole performance this afternoon.
Yeah.
But I do know that
They're
for
here.
Uganda Rugby, they
They're here.
definitely have to do a post-mortem into what went wrong. It has not been a good season for the Rugby Cranes. Relegated from 1A last season to 1B this season, and then sliding down to 1C, where they're going to be with Botswana, Nigeria, and Mauritius. Not the kind of people you want to be playing, considering that this side were once African champions in 2007.
Of course, well said, Mike. Ugandans actually are a resilient lot of individuals, and I'm certain it'll take them not so long to get back to where they really need to be. Seeing the under-19s playing much earlier, you could see some level of promise at that age grade level, and they need to go around and ensure that they can fast-track these guys to play competitively, right across the continent. Get them out to the Craven Week, get them out to Churchill Cup in Zimbabwe. Try and ensure that fellows can start winning, getting a winning mentality, because they surely cannot sink lower than this.
Okay, 2 knocks, huh? First by black, then by red. Take the first one.
Scrum down call there by the Zimbabwean referee, taking charge of today's game.
2 minutes. Wait, they can be with Let's go.
Felix Wajala seems to have actually relaxed into the game, not in any hurry to get into the scrum put-in.
It was another smart move by head coach Dominic Habimana. He's now brought a more conventional scrum half to control the tempo of the game once he knew that it was done and dusted. And it seems to have worked for him. You can just see that look, a look of I don't want to say the words, but
dejection, desolence.
I didn't want to say the words. You said
desperation.
Them. Yeah.
And any other synonym that exists in the English language, as at the 18th of July, or rather, I beg your pardon, 19th of July 2014.
Remember, you can follow this conversation on Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag Elgon Cup. The Kenyan fans, you can see in our picture George Jakadadi Okeno, who came back from the FIFA World Cup in Brazil. The Ugandan fans still making noise.
He claims to have been the only Kenyan at the Soccer World Cup final on Sunday.
Probably.
How certain that could have been, only God knows.
Use it.
Well read there by the Ugandan defense.
The buzzer has gone.
Isaiah Nyariki still wants to go around and have a go at the Ugandan defense, smashing his way there and losing the ball to the Ugandans. Ugandans have numbers out.
The Kenyans defending as if their lives depended on it. Never mind, they're 34-0 up, Hillary.
Almost intercepted there by Kelvin Omio. Well read, well played by the Ugandan backs.
Away. Fine. Went back round.
Patrick Leku taking it in. The Ugandans looking for something, anything, a consolation, points on the board. That was Wakabi. Rocky Aguko. And there it is, it's all over. Kenya A ensure that the Elgon Cup remains in Kenya for another year. Succeeding their predecessors, Kenya, in winning the Elgon Cup. 34-0 on the day. 48-21 on aggregate. It has been a clean sweep for Kenya here today. Remember earlier the under-19s won that one, beating the Ugandan counterparts 27-12 on the day, 37-27 on aggregate.
This is a well and thoroughly beaten Ugandan Cranes outfit. Congratulations to the Kenya team. Commiserations, Uganda. Of course, there was a lot of concern as to whether the Kenya A outfit would be able to defend the Elgon Cup title. They have disapproved critics. They have managed to emphatically retain the trophy which they won last year. 34 points to 0, and in aggregate, they have a differential of 27 points. Just snippets of play showing action shots from the first and second half of a very, very exciting game. Was actually quite close in the first half, but just managed to change in its dimension, right and tipped on its head in the second half. The Kenyans showing a lot more hunger, a lot more precision, and then coming out 34-point valid winners against Uganda. We'll have the presentation in a little while. Kenya have actually managed to complete a treble against Uganda, winning the under-19 Elgon title, winning the women's Elgon title, and emphatically running away victors 34 points to 0 in the Elgon Cup seniors. Mike, I don't recall the last time Kenya pumped more than 20 points against Uganda.
Well, the last time Kenya pumped in more than 20 points against Uganda, it was the full Kenyan squad against Uganda in the Car Cup in 2013 in Madagascar. This time round, Kenya A. That was one of the try scorers, Godfrey Mbea, leading Kenya to a 34-0 win, Kenya A. This is one of the biggest wins. It is the biggest win in Elgon Cup history.
Thank you for jogging my memory and reminding me of the result last year, Mike. Always very trustworthy, always my encyclopedia of facts.
Thank you, Hillary.
Unakula jasho yako ombi, hiyo ni ligi so lazima uchangamke ndio uingie kwa hii uko. So kawe ni mlezijo una ball, ukipewa kazi fanya kazi, chapa kazi, don't aim the stars, aim the galaxy. Ligi so okunko niko California bado tuko pamoja kamke nyumbani na mwiko. Niliingia ligi so nikatoka nayo kijiko. Okunko bado tuko ligi, wako ligi ndogo, so wako ligi ndogo, tuko ligi, wako ligi ndogo, so tunaishi like there's no tomorrow, tuko ligi, wako ligi ndogo. Ogufuafu nasikia. A big shout out to the 2014 Elgon Cup champion. Congratulations to Kenya.
Moja. Wewe Biko, ajilia moja.
Was also KCB.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Interview. We might want to do an interview. Okay. So, interview.
wamaliza hiyo warm down. Hii kitu ni rahisi sambishikana mahali katikati hapa. Unaona hapa hii space iko litu vizuri kuliko hapa. Wanaangalia dimensions kiwanja. Ndio katikati. Na organize. Wambo.
Mambo?
Kuna vile tunaweza
Yeah.
Signal me, signal.
Yes. Yes. Only more.
I'm Dominic Habimana. He has just coached the Kenya A side to a 34-0 win over Uganda's Rugby Cranes. Dominic, first of all, congratulations. Second, it's important to note that this is the biggest scoreline ever in an Elgon Cup match between Kenya and Uganda at senior level. Your thoughts on the game?
The boys stepped up. They really took the spirit of and the mood of the nation to heart. We knew we were hurting in so many levels. We wanted to give a cheer to the nation.
All right, thank you very much, Coach, and we wish you all the best in your future assignments.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Kiswahili.
Dagi! Pleasure having you here. Dagi! Walete!
Kimbo inatafuta wahisi kusikiza. Natafuta wahisi.
Okay, roba ndio. Roba.
Cheki huyo mzee.
Nataka wahisi kwa makini.
Ngoja tukaya.
And now strolling to receive your trophy. The 2014 Elgon Cup champions. Kenya A.
Unaona pale kwa mguu na socks.
Trophy presentation debate.
Ndio yeye anatoa ndio hiyo.
first leg 21-14 in Kampala. Coming back for this. Putting up this brilliant display here in RFUEA. Big congratulations to the Elgon Cup champions 2014.
Top 5. Wengine rudi nyuma. Nyuma. Wengine nyuma pita balance. Nyuma yao. Wengine huko pita balance.
Well done, boys. Well done. Cheers. Kenya.
Congratulations once again. Elgon Cup, as always, one of our favorites. See you all next year.
A fantastic day of rugby action. Gentlemen, I think we'll agree that ever since from the very first game at midday up till now, we've had fantastic game of play. Segu, unfortunately, and look, I have to say something. This is the first time that Uganda have come to Kenya, to Nairobi, to this ground, and gotten away without any points.
True.
There's a problem.
There should be a very big problem. Even I'm asking myself where we went wrong. Which problem the technical committee for the senior team, they have to answer. They have to tell us the reasons why we had poor second performance.
Because 34-0 is a big score against Uganda.
Embarrassing.
Formidable.
Embarrassing. It has never happened. I
And
didn't think to turn up that way. I know Joe must be smiling, And,
I'm laughing all the way.
he must be laughing all the way, but he knows deep inside me I'm crying.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't be that. It couldn't be the score. It couldn't.
I mean, from your analysis of the game, what do you think went wrong?
I think the boys switched off. The boys switched off after conceding many penalties, after also making many attacks and then turnovers. They score against us, so they switched off.
They're frustrated because you make so much ground and then you don't score.
Yeah.
No points on the board.
Yeah, you would see that many times we would attack them to the 5. Turnover, they score us.
Yeah,
they lose the guts.
Yeah. Because the game actually was won by the Bucks. Joel, if I had to bring you in.
It's sad for Uganda, to lose the game without any points on the board. But it's exciting for Kenya, having come back in the second half and played much better than in the first half. In the second half, Kenya looked very confident, and they also, I think, the technical bench talked to them, and they fell back onto their structures, where the forwards just set up the platforms and the backs ran through the gaps. They tried to clear the gaps, and the support play was great, and they were able to score the points.
Sego, the way forward for Ugandan rugby, the Elgon Cup is always a good platform, but the way forward?
I think we should go back to the drawing board, look at all what we have home. Yeah, learn. We've lost the game, but we're not going to lose the lesson. We're going to go back, we know why we've lost, then from there we shall be a better team next year, I guess.
Joe, your final words on this?
Well, Kenya A should keep playing games. The union should find a way of getting them into tournaments, because they'll actually be the backbone of the senior team. And with depth in Kenya A, then for sure Kenya will definitely prevail.
Yes,
yeah.
I think both teams might actually learn lessons from this.
Yes.
Kenya A keep playing more games. Ugandan back to the drawing board. The Cranes back to the drawing board. More games, more opposition, and maybe restructuring of some things. But at the end of the day, we need rugby in East Africa. We definitely need it.
We do.
Well, that's all how we have time for. We are winding down here at the RFUEA Grounds. A fantastic day of rugby. Started at midday with the Kenya Under-19 clinching the victory for Kenya against Uganda. The Kenya Lionesses also clinching a victory, and the Kenya A winding up the victory. So a good day for Kenya, but lessons learned from the Ugandan side. And of course, we are with our brothers, and it's all in the spirit of rugby. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, have yourself a fantastic sporting rugby day.
ATP Uncovered. Get unrivaled behind-the-scenes access to the most exciting tennis players on earth in full HD. Find out what happens off the court with player profiles and tournament stories. Follow the ATP Tour and Grand Slam finals with in-depth features and tactical analysis. Become a tennis insider with ATP Uncovered. New episodes each Wednesday on Zuku Sports.
FIFA Football Mundial, the weekly show that travels the globe to bring you the stars of today, the talents of tomorrow, and the heroes of the past. Plus news and in-depth reports from all the major competitions. FIFA Football Mundial, the football show that knows no boundaries. New episodes in full HD, Wednesdays on Zuku Sports.